Hey everybody, welcome back to Kicking in the Second Half. Kish YZ. I'm D, and I'm here to bring you another PPF. And today we got somebody who's very special, in my opinion, through my eyes, a player that I have a high respect for. We're doing Derrick Rose, aka D Rose. Derrick Martell Rose is his full name there. Um, this is a player, if you're familiar with him or hearing the name, and you're just getting used to players in the league. He is a Knicks player, a Knicks guard coming off the bench this year. He might be in the running for six man of the year, to be honest. And he's been multiple time All Star. He's in his 13th season as it is right now, and he's on his 11th signature sneaker through Adidas, a contract that he signed a couple years into the league. So yeah, let me go ahead and give you the spill. So let's start with the past here. Derrick Rose, he's from the south side of Chicago, played 1 year at Memphis in 2007 to 2008 season. And just to give you a little bit of background, not to dive too much outside of his NBA career, but his collegiate career there, he had a very successful 1 year there. I think they went 38-2 under Coach John Calipari, who's known for putting out great product on the floor that winds up becoming high draft stock. Um, you could see that with players that he's gotten through the drafts over the last 10 years from Kentucky. But yeah, they went 38-2, and unfortunately that record, I think it was expunged from the NCAA because of the SAT scores. I guess with Derrick Rose made him ineligible, even though he did play. Like, it was kind of found out later that he didn't meet the certain standard, and they're kind of basically saying that he knew about that, but yet he played the whole season. He actually played all 40 games, one of his healthiest seasons in his career. And yeah, couple years after he left Memphis, because he was one and done, they basically declared that as a nullified season. So that was unfortunate there. But yeah, he did what he had to do there in Memphis, and they set a record, 38-2. I think that was apparently the record at the time for the best season in NCAA men's basketball. So that's crazy there. I didn't even know that until I just did some research for this PPF here. But yeah, so he was drafted number one in 2008 by the Chicago Bulls. He's from Chicago, so that was his hometown. That was very exciting to see. Um, he played 7 out of 8 seasons there in Chicago. And yeah, he was there for 8 seasons, but in 2012, 2013, he missed that entire season because of in the 2012 playoffs, he injured himself, and that resulted in an ACL. I think his left ACL was torn, so that rehab there, that was the turning point in his career where he was basically a very explosive player. If I had to put into words what type of player Derrick Rose was back then, it would be the explosiveness of Derrick Rose. Sorry, the explosiveness of Russell Westbrook combined with the speed of John Wall. Like, that was basically Derrick Rose. And at the time, I wasn't a huge fan of D Rose. Like, I respected his game, but I mean, he put up a big fight against LeBron, so I was kind of like, oh man, that's the one guy you don't really want to see. But I mean, I have a huge respect for him. I mean, this is one of my favorite jerseys that I just got basically for my birthday here, and yeah, I just like his comeback story. Like I said, he played 7 out of 8 years there in Chicago. He went on to get traded to the New York Knicks, where he played 2 years there. The first go around. So this is his second time with the Knicks, but the first go around, he played 2 years there. And then the free agency after that year, he signed basically a very low contract with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Only played a handful of games there, so like maybe less than half a season. Went to the Minnesota Timberwolves to play the rest of the season and another full season. And his coach from the Bulls, Tom Thibodeau, was coaching there at the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then they got Jimmy Butler in, who was a teammate of his in Chicago, as well as Taj Gibson was there. So that was kind of cool to see them kind of reunite, in a sense that it was a different team with a really, really great big man. They had Joakim Noah back in Chicago, and Karl Anthony Towns was definitely a step up. So I wish I could have seen more happen there. When he played for Minnesota personally, he scored a career high 50 points there. So that was amazing to see that. And if you were watching basketball at that point and you were familiar with Derrick Rose and the night he did that, and you just see the news the day after, it's really, really emotional because of just his story. The ACL tear wasn't the only injury he suffered, but that was the most memorable because, like I said, that was the turning point of how he played his game, being an explosive player as far as bounce and attacking the rim, like John Morant before John Morant, basically. And yeah, it's unfortunate to see that he doesn't play that style anymore. But for his benefit, it definitely is healthy for him to play the way he plays now, which is still great. I mean, he can still handle the ball. He's still pretty quick off his dribble, and he's got a nice floater that he's really gotten accustomed taking a lot more frequently now later in his career. And yeah, he played 2 seasons with Detroit as well after Minnesota tenure, and he was actually traded back to the New York Knicks this season. So after Blake Griffin was traded to the Brooklyn Nets, he was traded to the New York Knicks. Or one might have happened before the other. Sorry if I switched that and got it backwards. But either way, the vets were gone, and he basically wanted to go to New York because Tom Thibodeau's there again, and they're doing very well. He's basically like a third option there. Um, Oh, and let me go back and also add that in 2008, 2009, he was, of course, the Rookie of the Year, and he was three-time All-Star, and basically all of that happened while he was in Chicago. So with a player like him and his condition with the health, he basically peaked and went into his prime years early on in his career while playing in Chicago. But he's still a great player to have, in my opinion. Yeah, presently, he's number 4. He was number 1 in Chicago. So that was his number when he was playing there for the Bulls. And then I think he went to 25 with the Knicks, I believe, and 25 with Minnesota. Detroit, I think he was 25 as well, but he's wearing number 4. I didn't look that up to see why he was wearing number 4. But that's what the number he has with the Knicks this season. And yeah, this guy basically I've written down like this guy's a winner. He's a true winner. He does what he needs to do out there on the court. He's a very quiet guy, but he plays his heart out, and he's very emotional. Gives a lot to the game, and I think we should all pay some form of respect to him as far as, like I said, his story of comeback and how he's beaten the odds and succeeded. And yeah, everybody has a backstory, but for him to be from the south side of Chicago and go through adversity with coming back from an injury, it's definitely inspiring. It's definitely something that you can use for your own personal journey in life, even if you're not a basketball player, in my opinion. But yeah, like I said, he might be in the running for Sixth Man of the Year this season, 2021. So let's see what happens. And there's reports saying that this is possibly his best overall season as far as what he's contributing since his MVP season. So even though he's not starting, but the Knicks are where they're at for a reason, and it's taken more than just Julius Randle. So, and Coach Tom Thibodeau is doing a great job managing these guys. But when he has his guy, when he has D Rose and or Jimmy Butler, great things usually precede that. And yeah, just to give you his 2021 stats as of right now: 14 points per game, 2.4 rebounds per game, about 4 assists per game, a steal a game, almost half a block per game, and he's doing this with an average of 25 minutes per game. So, like I said, comes off the bench, and those are pretty solid numbers. If you can expect that, and then we'll see what happens in the playoffs because this is a guy that could, if you give him more minutes, obviously you don't want to push his health and cause any injury to this guy. But if he gets up there to about 30 minutes, 32 minutes in a playoff series, then those numbers will definitely increase. And, he can easily average 20 points in a playoff series if they need him to do that. So this somebody great to have for the New York Knicks franchise. So congratulations there. But yeah, just to get to the future after covering the past and the present here. Oh yeah, by the way, one of his other nicknames is Pooh, but I kind of want to just throw that in there. I don't think anybody really calls him that outside of his family. I think when I first heard of that years ago, I think his grandmother is what they said gave him that nickname, Pooh, as in like Pooh Bear, Pooh. But yeah, I just want to throw that in there. But the future, I hope he wins a championship. I'm not sure if the Knicks could do it this year, but if they keep everything intact, maybe next year. But at some point in his career before he gets out the game, I would like to see him do that and accomplish that goal of just being a winner on the highest level. And yeah, just with that would definitely seal, in my opinion, his Hall of Fame resume. I think he definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, even if he's only a three-time All-Star, just because of, like I said, his career story there and what he did do for Chicago. I mean, he was the Windy City assassin back then, and basically the most prominent player since Scottie and Pippen, since those days in Chicago, and he was definitely leading the way. And with Jimmy Butler there, it was just very unfortunate that that happened the way it did. But yeah, yeah, definitely a Hall of Fame type of candidate in my opinion. I would definitely vote him in. I'm not sure if people are going to see it as a first ballot, but I think a championship would definitely help him, and or if he gets the sixth man of the year, because that would be incredible as well to be basically 8 years, 7, 9 years after your injury, your major injury, and you're still able to contribute in that way. That sometimes players don't make it that long afterwards, or back in the day they wouldn't come back. So I would say, just to wrap it up, it's probably not his last stop. I would think, unless Tom Thibodeau remains there. I think he's going to stay there as long as Tom is there, and because he really likes playing for that guy and likes the system that he runs in particular that fits his style of play. But yeah, I could see him maybe moving on if he doesn't win a championship there. He might move on to another team or two. I think he's probably got another, I would say, another 4 or 5 years left as far as when he might want to retire from the league. Like I said, his game has changed from how it was early on, so I think he could definitely make it that far. And I would like to see him play for Chicago one last time. I would think that he would definitely be there at some point, just as a tribute, even if it's like one of those Paul Pierce, like 1 day, 10-day things or something, just to retire from the league officially as a member of the Chicago Bulls, just signed the contract. I'm sure they would like to do that for him, or they should do that just as a respect from an organization standpoint. And I think that would be a really good homecoming for him and very emotional there. So I would definitely like to see that happen, in my opinion. And yeah, put in the comments if you agree. But yeah, that's basically all I got to say. I wanted to keep it short. I mean, I could have definitely went in. Like I said, he's one of my favorite players in the league currently, and like I say, even though he's a six man, I don't really care. It's just inspiring just to see him play, and I have great respect for him. So yeah, I'm going to actually follow this up and do a pair of his shoes unboxing. So stay tuned for that. That'll be out. But yeah, shout out to Derrick Rose, and shout out to the New York Knicks this year for what they're doing this season, and congratulations on making the playoffs, clinching the playoffs, and we'll see what happens next. So yeah, once again, this has been Kicking in the Second Half. Kish YZ. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video. If you're just tuning in, please subscribe and check out some of our other videos. Like I said, our PPFs that we do here, the past, present, future. This is one of multiple. We have a playlist for this, and it seems to get a lot of views compared to some of our other videos. But we do podcasts, and we do debates. Shoes is kind of popular as well. Like I said, I'm going to do a shoes unboxing of a pair of D Roses. Just let you know the 11s, because that's the model he's on this year. But I've had a pair before. I have 2 pairs of the 7s, and I really like those. But yeah, just check out our page, and yeah, if you want to listen to the podcast for the audio only, you can find us on Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Spotify, and Anchor.fm under Kish YZ. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter under Kish YZ. That's KISH_YZ for those handles. And of course, here on YouTube, Kish YZ, KISH space YZ. So yeah, give us a look. And like I said, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And this has been another PPF, and stay tuned for more. Thank you, everybody. Peace and love.